as I've thought about it more, as I've got older, and as I've seen my kids go to school and whatever, the more I think about it, the more that these children, people like you that are at least 10 years younger than me, are confronted with a schooling system which is literally lying to you and putting you on a kind of maladaptive roadmap of life.
Yeah.
And when I was at school, it was the fag end of the adaptive roadmap of life. Like, you had to learn, you will do sport and you will lose at it and you will be last because you're the little crippled disabled kid. And there'll be no sympathy for you, nothing. And you will, and if you misbehave, they will hit you. And you will learn, therefore, to behave. And there was this element to it, which is which has gone. And now we're taught, men, just go and be a man. Don't be a man. Express your emotions. Say how you feel. And then you do that, and women will find it appalling. And you have to. And it's not school or people at school that are telling you that. It's putting you on this map to insanity. And I think being younger than me, you've experienced that more, which must be very difficult.
I think you hit on something that I try not to address it too much on the show because it does start to sound a little bit too mean to men. But just as women have been shunted away from their more feminine nature, I think just as much, or maybe even more, men have been told that they must not be too masculine, must not be too confrontational or assertive. Just like you say, being sporty is not nearly as highly prized as it otherwise would be, and certainly not being confrontational or aggressive is very much beaten out of boys, I think. And that I don't know how much that does make a difference to how women sort of view men. And I keep thinking about making a video or a stream about this, where it's possible that women are not settling down with men and not having children with them because they can't find a partner who they believe is worthy of themselves. And maybe that's some narcissism or having a too high opinion of themselves. But I honestly think that men being less masculine gives women less incentive to get going on it.
Yeah, and
sorry.
I was just going to say, just sort of going off of what Birdie and Poe just said, I think it's sort of important to note that it would be easier to be an unmasculine man. Maybe as a kid, it would be easier for your parents to just put you on meds if you acted out. It would be easier for me as a woman to get some freaking fake, cubicle job and have 2 incomes. And I feel like the largest thing for people I don't know her personally, but possibly your sister, your friends, Birdie, it's mindset. And we live in a society today that is structured in a way that is just making us all devoid of our innate human qualities, our human nature. I know I keep saying that, sorry, but it's very difficult to sort of overcome the mental boundaries of participating in a lifestyle that is unsupported by every societal structure around you. And it's not that it's easier. It's great that a lot of these women are settling down young, that they have found good husbands, that sort of thing. And people can look at it. Career women can look at it. Unmasculine men can look at it and say they're just purporting an old stereotype, or they're taking the easy way out. And the reality is, we still have to live under the systems that they do. It's just that we approach it in a vastly different way that is more in tune with our biology as humans.
Yes, and if I could return to what Poe said about the fact that basically men need to man up, and even though they've been put along
I don't want to put this all on men. We're all in this together. We all got to figure it out. Okay, that's what I'm saying.
Sure. But you know what I mean. If it's true that part of this is that these men have been put on this kind of, have been inculcated essentially with unhelpful things, then one thing that do you mind my asking, Birdie, is there a big age difference between you and your chap?
Not massively. No, there is an age difference, but it's not massive.
I just wondered if it would mean that basically
it's less than 10 years anyway.
well, 10 years is quite a lot. So I just wondered if it would mean that men that were older, who had been less inculcated with this nonsense, would thus become more attractive, because literally they.
Yes, and I also think that, I mean, Alex, my other half, he's on Twitter anyway, as most people do know him, is also very based, and he did actually go to boarding school over in Germany. So in terms of actually growing up over here, we do tend to compare things quite a lot, but there's always been a running joke in his family that he's been a middle-aged man since he was born. So he has very
he is
much
like that. That's so true.
Yeah, it's very true. Those who have met him.
I think that's a compliment. That should be a compliment.
Yeah, absolutely. He does have very traditional roles, and we both do like very similar things and a very similar way of living. We both want the same goals, really, which does make things a lot easier. And I've always said that I was very, this is going to sound very smushy, but I was very lucky to have met him, because we are that similar and we do want the same goals. And as Poe was saying, it is, for women to actually find a man who does want to settle down, who does want to have a family, and who does want to support his family is actually quite rare now. And even if it isn't completely rare,
I just thought that was an interesting point. There is this thing with women that they sexually select for age for sound evolutionary reasons, and so consequently normally the husband is older than the man. But if the process that you are talking about is correct in terms of the emasculation of younger men, then you would expect something like that to manifest. By the way,